Beautiful New York. Did you know that it's the third largest wine producer in the United States? 59 of its 62 counties have at least one winery, over 400 in all. As a meteorologist in New York who happens to love wine, I'll give you insight as to how weather affects each vintage and what tastes emerge from each growing season. With a variety of weather patterns, New York grows grapes that evoke flavors found nowhere else in the world. I'm Jason Goff, and this is Wine About the Weather. Welcome to another edition of Wine About the Weather. Not the prettiest day we've ever seen out here, but it's all good. It's springtime. We need this rain. We need this weather to bring us the grapes that'll bring us the wine as we head deeper into the season. We're out here on the North Fork of Long Island, out on the eastern part of the island, basically out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Now, the buds have already broken out here, but they're taking their time in doing so with this cool wind off of the water. But I'll tell you something else. These wines are going to go perfectly with food, specifically New York food and even food from the sea. So what to do on a day like this? Let's go fishing. Hey, Rob.
Hey, Jason.
Jason Goff, nice to see you.
Good to see you.
A little breezy out here today.
It is, a little windy.
What do you think about some fish? Are we going to get them or what?
Yeah, we're definitely going to get them today.
All right, let me go put my waders on and we'll get to work.
All right, great. Okay, let's go.
The fish are just now coming in.
Yep, this is the first week. Everything's just starting to show up. This is just going to be just a bowl right here. So this is kind of a muddy hole.
So the fish will just kind of hang out along the banks and inside of that hole?
Yes.
Well, let's get some dinner. So Rob, the idea here is we're going to catch a little dinner. We're going to pair it up with some wine, and this whole show is contingent upon you putting me on the fish.
Oh, that was something.
Was it? That's a good sign.
Okay, one of the things the stripers like around here too a lot is strip, pause, strip, pause. Hesitate it, let it drop a little bit,
okay,
and then start it back up again and make it go to make them go after that reaction strength. Let's go out a little bit farther and try out where you can see the channel right back there around the sandbar.
It's amazing that, you know, we're not that far from New York City. We're not that far really even from Albany. It didn't take that long to get here. You take the ferry, it's a nice ride. And we're out here, it's almost like another planet. It's beautiful out here.
Yeah, it's real nice out here. The vineyards have really helped everything. Even though there's not as many farms as there used to be, it's still, you know, industry is not building up. There's not a lot of houses and stuff. They're keeping the farms.
That's so cool because then, I mean, instead of farming potatoes and cauliflower and cabbage, you're farming grapes and drinking wine.
Yeah, there's a lot more vineyards now than there used to be, but the soil for it is perfect. It's the perfect conditions for it.
Vine's like dry feet, so when you have a sandy soil, right, and we're right on the water, the soil is full of sand, so it's going to drain real well. Makes sense.
And I guess a lot of the conditions too are similar to that in France. Nope.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Well, we're pulling the plug on this fishing hole. It's all right, there's plenty of them around here. Just got to go where the fish are. That's where we're headed right now. So this is a little different. Obviously we're out of the water, but the current is flying through here. What's going on here? This is one of your honey pots.
Yep, this is right here. We have the channel that comes right through into Ashmont Pond. There's a little sandbar that comes out right here, and the back eddy makes its own channel through here. So we're gonna come back and just hit this point right here.
So right off the point, it'll loop around. So the thing about this kind of fishing is you know quickly whether they're there or not.
Oh yeah.
So let's head over to the other side of the tracks.
Okay, let's go.
See what we can do. This place is littered with osprey. This is hole number 3. Water's still rushing through on this side of the tracks. And we're gonna fish right in the channel. This is an awful lot of work to go and drink some wine, you know what I mean? But we're gonna make it happen.
On the spot 4.
On the spot 4, they're not in here either? That's fine, we're gonna keep moving.
Oh, there he is.
One's a little small. But we just got one. And when I say we, I mean Rob. And it was just a little sucker. So they gotta be 27 inches to be of keeper size. So what we're hoping is that that little guppy was hanging out with his granddad. And that's what I'm gonna catch. He tapped it once and then he hit it. That's the other fella's cousin, but still not big enough. Okay, buddy, go get bigger. Still got another schoolie. Well, these little schoolies aren't gonna cut it, but fortunately, Captain Rob knows a good fish market right up the road. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Jason Goff.
Charlie, Subtle Fish.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, let me guess, you couldn't catch a fish today.
Well, we couldn't get the big one. How about that? No keepers. Was hoping to not have to come to your market, but I'm glad that we did. It's a beautiful spread you've got here.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit of local stuff. So
what do you got?
Today we got some sea scallops, monkfish, flounder, codfish, blackfish, weakfish, bluefish, striped bass, fluke, and black sea bass.
Well, since this was the elusive fella, let's go ahead and grab that, maybe about 3/4 of a pound of the striped bass.
Sure, yeah,
right.
No problem.
So this is really our last fishing spot. We finally got dinner. Coming up on Wine About the Weather, we're going to visit one of the most beautiful organic farms you've ever seen. And do you ever wonder what goes into making sea salt? Stay with us. Welcome back. We're rolling into Sangli Farms. The locals have told us this is the place to get some fantastic produce to go with our striped bass. Hi.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you very much. Jason Goff.
I'm Lucy, nice to meet you.
This is beautiful spot here that you guys have, and that everything that is here is grown here.
Yes, for the most part. Right now, everything we have right here, we grow at the farm in the hot houses or in the field, which right now we have asparagus coming from the field. We grow everything organically. We're certified organic since 2007. So everything you see here, we sell at markets, and we do in our CSA farm share program.
So we got some fish. I want to pair it up with some things, and let's make our way down and kind of check out some of these. These are a little interesting here. These radishes are a different shape.
Yeah, the French radishes are just a specialty variety amongst others that we grow, and they're really mild and tender, so a lot of chefs prefer them.
Okay, that's good. We'll have that. And then what about something green? What do you think?
The mustard greens are really delicious. They're really healthy for you, and they're also sort of an Asian green, so part of our Asian heritage on the farm. So
okay.
Those would be really nice.
And then the thing that's intriguing to me about the asparagus is that it's the only thing that's growing outside right now. So let's put that in there too.
Yeah, the asparagus is growing from the field, and I'll show you that later. But it's really fresh, and when it's cut the day before, the juices don't seep out, and it's really, sweeter. So this will make a really nice addition to your fresh fish.
Okay, can we take a look at the asparagus in the hot houses and see what's going on out there?
Yeah, let's go see the hot houses. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is one of our hot houses that we're growing in this winter.
This is beautiful in here, Lucy.
Yeah, it's really nice. We have lots of beautiful greens growing. We have kale on the far side, arugula, gailan, which is specialty Asian Chinese broccoli, and sugar snap peas, which are will get really big. In the meantime, we have the low-lying greens there.
So how long ago were these seed?
Probably about 50 days ago. Normally it would be about 30 days in the heat of the summer, but because of the colder temps.
Okay, so all of this stuff you'll grow outside in the warmer weather too?
Yes, it's just a season extension for us.
Cool. What else do we have here?
We have some radishes. As you can see, they've been harvesting right here. These are growing probably about 40 days. They're really getting quite big.
Beautiful. Can we take these with us?
Yeah, and
okay.
One more thing, I just want to show you the leeks that we have growing back there.
All right, let's go see those.
Okay. So these are our leeks. They're overwintered in the hothouse, and we're going to harvest them, for our farm stand and for our CSA.
This is huge. It
Yeah.
looks like a cornfield here.
Yeah, they got really big, but they're still good.
Well, this is a beautiful hothouse. The only thing growing outside is what we're going to prepare with our fish is the asparagus. Can we go
Yeah.
take a look at that?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Wow, these things are just sprouting right up. I'd always heard that thinner asparagus is better than fatter asparagus. Is that true?
That is not true.
Okay.
It's just a matter of preference and texture, or how you're going to cook them. Some people like the larger ones for grilling, the finer ones for maybe a saute. So really just up to the chef.
And then how do you get these suckers out of the ground? You pull them or?
Yeah, they emerge in the spring, and so that's why they just look like they're coming out of nowhere. And they're a perennial, so they grow, they come back every year.
Oh, cool.
So they come back in the spring. When they get to be tall enough, we just snap them like this with a knife or with your hand, and then there you go.
Wow, nice and firm.
Yeah,
And you can eat them.
yeah, you could even eat it raw. The ends tend to be a little woody, but the tops are really, really sweet.
No, but that is really, really good.
Yeah, it's amazing. I have tour groups come all the time, and kids love it raw. They love to eat the fresh asparagus right out of the ground.
Better than French fries?
Yeah,
Hey, good.
if you ask me.
Now that we have this gorgeous produce, next stop, North Fork Sea Salt Company. Hey, Scott.
How you doing, Jason?
Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
This is great. It's a little smaller than I thought it would be in
Yeah,
here.
yeah, very small, but we do enough to keep us going.
And how long have you been in this spot?
End of 2012, we started making salt. Beginning of 2013, we became a business.
And you distribute where all over the place? I mean, you pretty much all your salt comes in and out.
Local chefs, local vendors, as well as the whole island into Manhattan, and a few places throughout the United States carry
That's a lot of
Sea
salt.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, take us through the process. Let me see
Sure.
how this all comes to pass.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, what we do is we hand harvest our water with 5-gallon buckets. We bring it back here, we let the water settle for at least 24 hours. Then we take our water and very gently filter it through.
Oh, so
This
this
is
is
a
like
kind-
like
yeah.
a cheesecloth
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
So
That's
this
cool.
is to catch any of the seaweed or sand that may have been gathered during harvest. We boil it down to half its volume. We filter it into 5-gallon buckets where it's transferred to our salt pans. At a controlled temperature, we slowly reduce it to make sea salt.
Now, slowly, how slowly?
Probably takes about 24 hours.
So this is plain old sea salt, and this is what you guys do.
This is plain sea salt. Our whole thing is to use what's local from start to finish. So what we do is we collaborate with a lot of local farmers to incorporate flavors into our sea salt. One of them being bee pollen. We use herbs from Sangli, which I believe you just came from. We use their rosemary and thyme.
And you had said to me off camera that springtime yields better salt crystals.
I don't know if it's the tidal flow, the organic matter which is in the seawater itself, but it seems to create the most delicate, beautiful crystals that we really want out of salt. So.
And then we're home free, then you have it bottled up and it's ready to be
That's
sent out.
it, yep, off to our vendors.
Coming up on Wine About the Weather, we're gonna take our fish and all of our local goods, we're gonna cook it up and pair it up with some North Fork wine. We're back and we found our way to Bruce & Son in Greenport, and little did we know our buddy Scott from the North Fork Sea Salt Company, well, he's a trained chef. He's gonna help us out, cook this all up. So when we were at your sea salt spot, I was calling you Scott. Now I've got to call you Chef. You're ready to roll here. We brought in the sea bass. We brought our bounty from Sangli. So let's get to it.
Okay, all right. Well, first thing we want to do is lightly dust the top of this with a little bit of cornstarch and seasoning.
A little salt and pepper.
A little bit of salt and pepper,
Okay.
all right?
So all we've done with this fish is just cut it up into these bigger chunks, put a little bit of cornstarch and some salt and pepper on it, get a nice hot pan going with some oil, and now he's putting it skin side down, so the cornstarch will actually put a bit of a crispiness to that skin.
So this is our shaved asparagus that we got from Sangli, as well as the radish that you got from Sangli. Very lightly shaved. Our foraged items are our sea beans, which is found on the shorelines of the creeks that these bass are probably coming out of. Also, this is a chickweed, common weed, tastes like a pea shoot. So I figured that'd complement the base of the dish, which is a pea puree.
So how long will you cook fish this size?
Okay, once it hits the hot pan, skin side down, you want to give it about a couple minutes, checking to make sure that the skin is evenly crispy. Yeah, nice crisp on it. Still got a little jiggle to it. Once we flip it over, probably another few minutes, depending on the thickness. This one, probably it'll be done in another couple minutes. This is mustard oil. It's got a faint hint of spice to it. And then we'll add some of our chickweed, some of our shaved asparagus, and then we'll put a little bit on top. So it's just a very delicate spring salad. We got some beautiful green and purple asparagus from Sangli.
So you just cut the tops off of those
and roast them.
Roast them right up
in
in
a
the
hot
pan.
pan, salt and pepper. These are mustard greens, also from Sangli. We're just gonna throw a few of these in here.
A nice little bed for our fish.
Yeah, nice little bed for our fish. So this is mustard seed caviar. Not your normal caviar. This is actually made with mustard seed.
No fish.
No fish. And then we'll top it with our salad that we just made. And last but not least,
The North Fork Sea Salt Company.
correct, sir. That's it.
And we are done. Of course, the name of the show is Wine About the Weather. We have a good friend standing by to pair a couple of his wines with this dish. The rule is there are no rules. This is really neat. This is like a little pet project of yours, but you have a different day job.
That's right. I'm a full-time winemaker at another winery called Osprey's Dominion. But I started this project in 2008, and what I wanted to do was just make a small, focused portfolio of super premium wines.
Well, how about we small focus on this plate with some of the wines that you brought? What do you think?
Excellent idea.
Well, let's start off. What do we start with here?
Well, we're gonna go from lighter to heavier. I'm gonna start you off with the Sauvignon Blanc. Now, the way I make this is in stainless steel tank, and it's just a very clean, bright wine. My feeling is when you're pairing with fish, you kind of need a wine that can stay out of the way of the fish because it has very delicate flavors, but you also want a wine which has a nice acidity so that it will finish through and refresh your palate and leave you ready for another bite of fish.
Okay, well, I'm gonna try the first bite right here now. It just brings it out very nicely.
Thank you, thank you.
Very nicely.
So we'll get to the second wine of the pairing. Now this is Chardonnay. It's barrel fermented, but I use very old barrels so you don't get that heavy, toasty, buttery character that you get in a lot of Chardonnays. This one you'll notice has kind of a creamy mid-palate.
It really does, yeah.
And also it has more brighter, more tropical fruit to it. And I think that might really make that striped bass pop.
Creamy is the perfect way to describe that. Now that Chardonnay is an award winner.
That's right, we won Best Barrel Fermented Chardonnay in New York State, and the wine also received a 90-point score in Robert Parker's magazine, The Wine Advocate.
So he agrees that your mission was accomplished too.
Well, thank you.
Good. Now let's try on to the Merlot, and you know, if you're not a white wine fan and you have fish, that's fine. You just go on to red.
I mean, my suggestion with fish, naturally, is that you choose a kind of a lighter bodied red. You don't want a real full bodied red because that will texturally just make your mouth just kind of pucker up a little bit. The idea with wine pairing is that you want to match the richness and the flavor of the dish with the richness and flavor of the wine.
Adam, thank you so much for your time, sir.
So my question to you is, which wine did you like best?
I really like the Sauvignon Blanc, and I like the Merlot. Do I get to pick two, or do I just have to pick one?
No, you can have all three. It's up to you.
Okay, then I'm gonna pick the Sauvignon Blanc and the Merlot.
Well, good
How
choice.
about yourself?
Good choice. I am really a Chardonnay fan, so that Chardonnay, I will take that one home myself. Maybe if you're sharing that fish.
By all means.
Well, thank you.
It's all you, man. Thanks for checking out this episode of Wine About the Weather. For more, head over to wineabouttheweather.com. You can check out past episodes, recipes, see where we've been and where we're headed. When I first envisioned Wine About the Weather, this is the exact episode I had in mind. Heading out to the east end of Long Island, catching a striper, preparing it with a local chef using local organic produce, and pairing it all with a North Fork wine. Of course, things didn't always go as planned, but hey, when do they ever? We've met some wonderful people here. There's a real hometown feel to this area. Things have gone from potato farming to grape farming. Well, the weather could have been a little bit better, but we had a great time and made the most of it. Wine About the Weather, then drink it.